Hi there. Welcome, welcome. It's Friday, 10 o'clock UK time. It's very snowy here, very pretty, but quite icy. And it's time for weekly wildlife wisdom. And first and foremost, I just want to apologise, although it can't be helped, for the about a month since I've been here. I think sort of been a combination of things, but mainly to do with just my health being a bit up and down. So I won't bore you with that, but I'm okay today. Not feeling brilliant today, but I'm a lot better. Um, so that's why I haven't been around. But whenever I can, every Friday, I will come on here and share a different species, wild species, wisdom and energy. And the reason for doing it is really because I love wildlife and always have, and nature. And I've always been drawn to the Celtic beliefs about living in close harmony with nature and understanding that we are an integral part of nature. We're not separate from her. And we really do depend completely on her for our life. And I think sadly, a lot of people have become disconnected from that. And so, what happens with the disconnection is we sort of separate ourselves and we can forget, those of us that have forgotten, that we are in many ways different from all the other species on the planet, but there are always some similarities and some common ground. And I think in our troubled times, as a species on this planet, that's probably something that we most need to remember and to work with. And so, with weekly wildlife wisdom, I talk about specific species, and this week is going to be about the stoat and also the weasel. I know different countries tend to call them slightly different things, and I'm going to share with you how they have similar needs and wants in their lives, and that we share an awful lot with them. And what's more is, because of their beautiful ability, all wildlife's ability and nature as a whole, to stay in the present moment and be present and respond to what is in that moment with all their senses alert, we have so much to learn from them. And so I hope if you stumble across this by accident, that you hang around and have a listen and at least see what this is all about. Does it make any sense to you? Does it help you to think a little bit differently? Maybe to open your mind, maybe to try some different ways of being in the world. And does that help you and others around you to live more peacefully, more in balance, and more in harmony with everything in the world, with this beautiful planet that we call home? So, welcome, Susie. It's so lovely to have you here. Susie joins us most weeks. Gets up very, very early, don't you, Susie? Bless you, to tune in, as she is over in America. So it's lovely to have you here. And she's saying, if only everyone will. I presume that means open up and listen to wildlife. Yes, it would make a huge difference, wouldn't it? And I know a lot of people are, and I think more and more people are reconnecting to nature. And really, for me, my passion in life is just to encourage people. So it's sort of, I see it as part of why I'm here, is to just encourage people and help people connect the dots back to nature and how magnificent all life is, all different species. Oh, Susie's saying, I overslept by an hour this morning. Well, you still made it. Well done. I'm very impressed, because it must be very dark when you get up to be here for 10 o'clock UK. So thank you. And right, let's crack on with Stoat and Weasel wisdom. Well, first of all, I'd like to share, wherever possible, there's normally a reason why the animal, the species, has come forward. Last Sunday, I was celebrating my birthday a little early, because my birthday was on Monday. And on Sunday, my husband David and I went on a trip, because I'd wanted to go and visit this beautiful stone circle from the Bronze Age it's only about 45 minutes from where we live. So we got up early, and we were driving there, which is all rural because we live very rurally. And I saw somebody scamper across the road in front of the car. So I slowed down, there was no one around, and stopped. And then I saw whoever this was. I thought, is that a squirrel? They sort of sat up on their hind legs with their paws up, and I could see their white, creamy white tummy. And then once they'd sat and looked at us for a little while, because I'd completely stopped the car by this point, they then came down and scampered, and I knew at that point it wasn't a squirrel, and it was in fact a beautiful stoat, which is such a rare sighting. To be on the road and to see a stoat was just amazing. So he or she just hung around for a little while, came a bit close to the car, sort of looking to see who we were. And as usual, David and I were both saying how beautiful they are, and how much they are loved and appreciated and needed in the world, and how amazing they are and how wise they are. And I know that they feel that. They don't understand our language, of course, but they feel the energy. And if you're quiet and still and present, and you send love and blessings and protections to an animal, they do respond. So we had this beautiful few moments with this beautiful stoat, and then they just whoosh, disappeared off into the hedgerow, and we were just completely blown away. So I knew at that point that that's who was calling to be here today. So, and by the way, our trip to the stone circle, called the Nine Sisters, if you look it up online, was very, very special indeed, and such beautiful land, such a beautiful energy of the peoples, the ancestors that lived there 3,000-4,000 years ago, surrounded by silver birch, way up high in the Peak District, up in the hills. Absolutely spectacular, and so special. So if you are around that area, or you can get there, then I would recommend going in deepest respect. And we made an offering and tuned in and just hung out with these beautiful energies for quite a while, and it was amazing. But I digress. Back to the Stoat and Weasel wisdom. So I called it silent tenacity because one of the many key things about beautiful stoats and weasels is that they make very little sound in their lives. They're almost completely silent. They are prolific, highly effective hunters, and they are almost entirely carnivorous. So they're always on the lookout. And the best way, I assume, they found is to be quiet. And it's such a good message for us humans. I watched a program last night. We're watching it on Disney, I think it is. I think it's Disney, called Only Murders in the Building. I think it's called that. It's got Steve Martin and it's in it, and it's amazing. And they had a whole episode where nobody spoke. It was all silent, and it was taken from the perspective of somebody who was deaf, one of the characters. And so they worked the whole half-hour episode around nobody saying anything. It was absolutely brilliant, and it changes your outlook so much. So next time you're out in nature, or next time you are sat by yourself somewhere, just explore the silence, because it's very, very powerful. And I know that a lot of people resist it, but if you enter into the silence with love and open up your senses, which I'm going to come on to, magic really does come out of those quiet spaces. So for me, the Stoat and Weasels really encourage us to tune into that ability to not always be yakking, and to just go inward. And while yakking, I mean also the noise in our heads as well. And we can quieten that down and just tune in to what is and what is around us. It's very, very helpful to our health, on all levels, mental health, physical health. We don't need to do it for very long, but the more you can do it, the better, I would say. Everything in balance, of course. So this silent tenacity I want to come on to, because it's a lovely combination. So they are hunters. They're also pretty fearless, very brave, and they will hunt other beings that are up to 5 times bigger than them and much more capable of being able to defend themselves, possibly, than the stoat. I mean, they are They are warriors, to be sure, and they're exceptionally fast and agile. They can catch prey up trees. They can catch prey on the side of hills. They can catch their prey down holes and burrows. They are amazing. They're very, very flexible, very adaptable, very bendy, I would call them. They're so flexible. They're almost like fluid. They're amazing. They need high levels of energy to stay alive. So, of course, they are often hunting and looking for the next meal just to sustain them. Their metabolism is very high. And I think that's incredible. But they hunt silently and they're very stealthy. And so they have an excellent developed sense of smell, but they also have all of their senses on beautiful high levels of awareness. And for me, that's such an important message for us humans. Are we paying attention from our sensory capacity? So much of the time we're locked into blah, 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 outside, inside. And with that blah, 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 we're missing everything else that's happening around us. And if you're trying to solve a problem, or you've got something on your mind, or you're trying to figure out what to do next, you've got a big decision to make, whatever those circumstances are, I would put a wager on the benefit and the acceleration of moving towards a decision point and action when you, first of all, quieten down inside and out, give yourself some space, and then tune into your senses. What are you seeing all around you? What are you hearing inside and out? What can you smell, touch, taste, and what does that bring to you? And focusing on that, not doing it from a busy chatterbox place, but really paying attention and sitting in that, or standing, walking in that silence and that awareness is so, so powerful. And this is what the beautiful Stoats and Weasels really demonstrate beautifully to us. So I'd love to issue, that's a bit formal, isn't it? I'd like to invite you to do that in the next 24 hours at some point, even if it's just 10 minutes. Maybe go outside if you can, if it's not too cold or too hot, depending on where you are, and just give yourself 10 minutes to forget everything going on in your life and just tune in a sensory way to everything. Notice the colours, notice the light, notice the softness of the air, the temperature of the air, what it feels like on your skin, what you can smell, what you can taste in your mouth, and go into as much detail as you can. And just do that as a practice, because not only is it very, very calming for your often frayed nervous system in our human-made world, but you also will start to notice the wonder in everyday things, and in beautiful, beautiful nature as well. And that is very, very transformative, and can often lead to connections in your brain that will make you think in a slightly different way, maybe just uplift your mood, your senses, your willingness to be hopeful, to be optimistic, all of those things and much more. And if you spot animals, birds, wildlife, nature, and they really call to you, pay particular attention to them. And that's what the Stoat, for me, in essence, is teaching us. And I think that was the main message I wanted to put across today. And follow those calls. So I always call, the intuition that we get are always in whispers. They're never shouted, they're never loud, they're never in your face, they're always subtle. But you have to be listening and paying attention with your senses to pick up on them, and then go with them, follow them. And by that I just mean allow that feeling, that emotion, that connection to stay with you, even if it's just for a few moments, and just feel into that as deeply and as fully as you can, because that's where sparks of inspiration and uplift come from. So quieten down the noise, and then when you're clearer on what you need to do, the stoat never hesitates. If they find a prey, piece, my words are funny today. If they find someone that they want to predate, they focus, they are quiet, they're silent, they engage in deciding what they're going to do next, and then they act. They don't distract themselves and think, oh, I must go and do that, oh, I'd forgotten about this, or oh, what's the time now, or oh, I'm not sure, maybe I should do it later. What if they see me coming? They don't do any of that. They just hone in and act. They don't distract. So act, not distract. And that's something that if we humans could do that, and obviously with a good, kind, loving moral compass, if we did that, we would transform our world completely in a very short period of time, I would imagine. So that's something that I really love from Stoat Wisdom, and I really, really appreciate them bringing that to us and helping us to remember that and to feel back into that, tuning in, not giving up. Not giving up on something. If you feel like you're banging your head against a brick wall, metaphorically speaking, hopefully not literally, or something's not going right, or you're just not sure, don't give up. Susie's saying perfect timing. I've been spending less and less time this way in the last year and desperately need to tilt the balance back, as do many of us right now, I imagine. Yeah, thanks, Susie. Yeah, I really think that's true, and it's so easy. There is so much distraction all around us human folk, and it will drive you to distraction, literally, and despair. And there's an awful lot of very worrying things happening in the world. Susie's saying it's been near literal head banging. Oh no, don't do that, Susie. We don't want that. But yeah, and it's just so easy to get drawn into it. So this is why, particularly, I think getting out into nature helps us to move away from our human created world, even if it's just a park or a little bit of garden that you've got, or a shared space that's outside. Just being in the air, fresh air, with trees, with plants, with flowers, with hopefully some birds around if you're lucky enough to have animals. Just to be with them is very, very helpful. So I would really encourage you to do that. And yeah, it takes a choice to do that, but it is a choice, and we can make that choice. So don't ever feel like you don't have the choice, because you always do. It's just a case of deciding, like the Stoat, and acting on that. And then if you can do that regularly, it's even better, because then you find it easier to tune back into what's happening. Susie's saying, I don't think it's a coincidence that a kitten walked into my life at that juncture. That's wonderful. Yeah, that's a lovely thing when animals come into your life, and it's almost, well, I believe it is. It's not an accident. They come to teach us, and they come to be with us and to help guide us. So how beautiful. And you know how much I love cats, Susie. So I've been loving seeing your posts of your beautiful felines and all that they bring. They're amazing beings as well, as they all are. So don't give up. You'll find a way, but sometimes you have to come at things from a different angle. So sometimes we think that if we just keep thinking, trying to force a solution, trying to make things happen, that we just have to keep doing that. But sometimes we need to actually stop, and we need to step back, enter the silence, tune in to a bigger picture, the whole of nature. Tune into her, listen to her with all of your senses. I know that doesn't sound right, but you know what I mean. So pay attention to all of your sensory input, retune yourself so that you're able to do that, and that will help you to make connections and join dots in different ways. And I promise you that that is a much more effective way of finding ways forward in your life. And also, don't be afraid to step into the dark spaces. And by dark, I don't mean the horrible, evil things that are happening on the planet. I mean the darkness of creation. I mean the darkness of our inner feminine, whatever our gender or preference is. We all have feminine energy and masculine energy within us. And that feminine energy is where the creative force of life, all life, comes forth from. So it might be hidden to you. So be curious and ask a higher power, however you feel and see that, to help you to go into those darker spaces and uncover important new information or remembered, regathered information for you to help you with your next steps in life. And if there are places that you avoid in that darkness, go there. Ask for support and protection and guidance from your healthy ancestors, from God, however you choose to call that higher power, power greater than you. And watch for your ego talking you out of stuff, because the ego is frightened, often a wounded part of within us that's valued, and we should love that part of us, but don't let that part of us rule the roost and make all the decisions, because they'll tend to keep you small and stuck, and they'll say no, 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 just keep doing this, this is the way we've already been taught, even though it's not working, and you are literally maybe sometimes almost banging your head against the brick wall. So there you go. I'm going to stop there. What time is it? Oh, yes, time's up. But I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that Stoat and Weasel Wisdom has got you thinking, feeling, more importantly. And I hope that you will step into that beautiful silence. And I'm going to leave you in peace now to ponder that and to act. Maybe pop on some outdoor clothing and just step outside for 5 or 10 minutes and just breathe and be silent and just notice the beauty that's all around you. And I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your comments, your experiences. Oh, you're so welcome, Susie. Oh, she says, I missed these talks. Oh, bless you. I did too. I love doing these. Hopefully I'll be back every week now, but rest assured I will, whenever I can, be here every week. So take good care of yourselves. Enjoy the snow if it's on its way, as Susie's saying. We've still got snow. I think we've got a bit of a storm coming in as well. So take good care of yourselves wherever you are. Look after yourselves, and hopefully, all being well, I'll see you again next Friday with another weekly wildlife wisdom. Lots of love. Take care. Bye for now.